Supreme Rice. Since the 1930s, supporting Louisiana farmers and communities throughout Louisiana. To find out more, go to supremerice.com.
Live at lunch.
You are looking live.
Live at lunch. Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
What the hell's going on out here?
Now, here's Jimmy Ott and Charles Handegriff.
Yeah, for some reason or another, you sound a little taller on radio.
Is it live? Is it live? Is it live? Is it live?
From Big Mike's in Denham Springs, welcome to the Monday edition of Live at Lunch. 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge. Charles Handegriff, Jimmy Ott, Max Gotro. Jordan Kinchin's back in the studio. Glad to have you with us here today on a very cold day here in Baton Rouge, but the sun is out. School's out, government's out, but we are working here today. We'll be opening a little bit later here at Big Mike's today to allow the staff to get in. So instead of our normal 11 a.m., we'll be opening at noon today.
Why is that should be a surprise? I think we have a little higher standard than the schools and the government.
It's it. Exactly. So, good morning.
No excuses on this show, baby.
No. Good morning. How are you?
I'm great.
Yeah.
Great day yesterday.
It was.
Broom job, baby. Let's go.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
AFC and NFC championship games.
Competitive games.
Very competitive games.
I hate the elements. I'm sorry. I'm not, our friends up north, think we're kind of wimps with us. It's football weather. And so, I don't know. I'm not saying, call for domes or whatever. But anyway, just when 90 to 95% of your sport is played in certain conditions and then it is altered in the bigger games, just me. I'd rather see, some, more action in a game than that. But hey, for the under, came back because that was some tough conditions at the end. Yes, because of the teams as well. They really couldn't run the ball, either one of them. But I'm not that one. I know it looks great, and they show the slow-mo, the snow coming down, and the frost, and the elements and things like that. And when a guy's in slow motion, they show the video of him beating his chest. Well, wait a minute. When the weather's right, that's look like that's a little much. That's a little celebratory. No, it's like you're a warrior in the snow, kind of. It's just, I get it. The visuals they love that. They love it. I mean, there's a reason there's a reason they try to put those Green Bay games in Lambeau at night, and the whole thing. They love it. The television, the networks love it. It gives them more appeal. Charlie, we don't count. We're watching anyway. So,
Almost as surprising as how bad the weather got in Denver was how good the weather was in Seattle. I mean, for January in Seattle, if you didn't know, you might have thought it was, the middle of the summer. I mean, that was as good of conditions as you can get for Seattle at this time of year. We've seen some really treacherous conditions in that stadium before, and that wasn't the case yesterday. And so you had a lot of – I think those two teams, the Rams and the Seahawks, could play, I don't know, 100 games if that were possible.
50 games.
Huh? And I don't know that there's 6 inches of difference in the two games, in the two teams. They might both
no
win 50.
argument. No argument. It's but the one constant, we just can't. It's just not an outlier. But just give them 7 on the special teams. I mean, that
was the play of the game. I mean, that was the difference in the game.
And guess what? Seattle's been better than the Rams, clearly, significantly on special teams all year.
The Rams fired their special teams coach after, week 15, I think it was?
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So they're aware of the problem. They just couldn't get it. Couldn't get it fixed.
But, just the guy was uncomfortable on the punt return and just sort of, that deep. It's okay to let it bounce. Try and let it go into the end zone. There's a chance it could do that too. So, anyway.
Of the two games, obviously the second one was a lot more entertaining, played at a much higher level. Sean McVay kind of second-guessed himself a little bit at the end of the first playoff game, the second playoff game against the Bears. What did you think of yesterday? I didn't think it was as big a deal, but other people have made it out that it wasn't maybe his best day. calling him out for not going for 2 at 26-31. Okay, I mean, I can deal with an opposition strategy, but I didn't think it was a huge.
Well, it's still in the third quarter. I mean, when it's in the fourth quarter, you definitely do it when you think, well, that there's just one score left in the game.
Yeah,
and
it's late.
Nobody thought at 31-26 with 2:06 to go in the third quarter that's it. I mean, they scored 57 points, so 58 points with the extra point. I mean, are you gonna? Who thought that was going to be the last score? So they, but late in the third, early, that's kind of where that's kind of in that range, So it's getting close. So how many times you miss it and like it comes back. So it's a flip of the coin. I mean, I would have gone for 2, but it's close. I mean,
I didn't think it was a huge gap. I can hear it either way, but I didn't think it was like this huge. Man, what a monster mistake that you're making there.
I mean, it's kind of a close call. I would have gone for it because I could even, it's at any point in the game you can make an argument that you got to put it on 3. Yeah. So, but what was game flow? Was game flow offensive?
Yes,
well,
absolutely.
Then there you go. Go for it then. So maybe with the game flow, and that was the deal with the who knew what the game flow was. But that snowstorm in Denver could not have come at a complete surprise to people. That thing was not like it was not on the radar anywhere up in the mountains.
No, and that's why I thought, and Peyton was openly second-guessed himself in the postgame. Did you know the weather was bad? Yes. Did you know you had your backup quarterback in? Yes. Did you know that the weather was going to get that bad? Maybe not, but the point seemed pretty significant at that stage. And I know we debate all this analytics and go or, kick the field goal would have been a very makeable field goal, but not a given the treachery.
No,
32 yards.
No. The conditions were fine. Charlie, that's a 98%er.
I think so.
Yeah,
I think so.
That's almost. I think it's shorter than an extra point. It was.
It was 32 yards.
Yeah,
a yard
shorter than an extra point.
Yeah.
So I mean, no, that's a 95 or whatever percenter. No, and I think that you stole one. Well, who knew that? Instead of connected with the long pass and set up the touchdown, you may. He didn't think that was all they were going to score that game.
No,
that's obvious. You can kill him for that. But damn, man, it's going to be a low-scoring game. New England early was not getting a first down on you. I mean, a two-score game at that point. Man, I'm sorry. Game flow even that early. Because look, if it's perfect weather conditions with Bo Nix, 100% you go for it. Yeah. 100%. But no, notwithstanding, I mean, you kind of stole a TD already. No, I mean, nobody could have predicted the extremity of the conditions in the second half where it was just, have you ever seen where, like, they missed a field goal and, like, you knew that was it? I mean.
I thought it was a big deal. The only text I sent you yesterday was, well, 2, actually. That one and the touchdown that they missed, which it ended up New England scored anyway, but the whistle on what should have been a touchdown for New England on Stidham's fumble, which they originally intentional grounding.
Yeah, went backwards.
And it went backwards, and they should not have blown it dead, and that should have been a touchdown. But, no, the points felt really significant.
Yes.
And a 2-score game, not just the math, but the psychology of it. You're on the road, your quarterback. Look, I thought May threw one significant pass the whole day. One really good pass down the field the whole day. That was on the blue flag.
A two-score
That's a lot of
puts
pressure.
so much more pressure on Stidham to try and do something. They took their shots downfield with on multiple guys against Surtain. Wasn't happening. I mean, how good is he? I mean, you can single your best player and he tackles like a safety. I mean, the very very few just elite cover guys that want to tackle like that. Just doesn't happen. His daddy gonna make sure he tackles. So the thing is, you just the matchup at least unfolded like, man, New England's going to have did they not have a hard time moving the ball against the Chargers? Did they not have a hard time moving with the crowd, the whole thing? No, this was going to be a hard day offensively with the first half conditions. They didn't do anything. They had a 13-yard drive for their touchdown. That's it. That is it. And so, no, two-score game puts so much more pressure on May and that offense to try and extend themselves. And you saw as it went on, and Vrabel's not dumb. Vrabel's smart. I mean, man, they were fine punting the ball once it got that lead. No, they were just fine.
His defense has really stepped up in these playoffs, and they've had to have it because they have played nothing but top 7 defenses. Every defense that they have played so far in the playoffs has been a top 7 defense, and they'll face that again in the Super Bowl. His defense has had to play at that kind of level for them to.
Denver's defense knew they had to step it up. They could not continue their trend of sort of mediocrity, which they had for about 7 weeks. And, the numbers indicate that they were ready for the challenge, that they kind of had to win it for the backup quarterback who hadn't attempted a pass in so long. And they kind of looked like they were on their way. I mean, they didn't give up anything. They really didn't give up anything. I mean, but Drake May, once he got the snow, the one difference in the game, he can move the sticks with his legs, and Stidham could not. And, he got the clinching first down run, And so, but besides that was it. Because they give Nance credit. He said, man, Tony, I mean, kind of where we're heading right now, Denver kind of needs a coffin corner here. And, with the win, get a stop. And they got it. And they got the field goal attempt. And it just can't kill a kicker for missing in those conditions. So, but I thought the Denver defense was ready for the assignment, and I thought Peyton, that's where it factors into that kicking the field goal there on 4th and 1, where weather conditions are sunny and 65, you're going for it 100% of the times, but not in this spot because it looked like New England was going to have a hard time moving the ball against Denver that day.
When the day Sean Payton hangs up his headset, whenever that is, he's going to look back on these things and say, man, maybe I didn't do everything exactly right.
Think?
But I also had some lousy luck. I had some lousy bounces in my career. I had the Minnesota Miracle, where I'm going to the championship game. Who knows if they win that one or not. I got the NOLA no call. I got the home field in the AFC Championship game. My defense is plenty good enough to win it, and I lose my starting quarterback on the last, essentially the last series of the game the week before that. And if you want to throw 2011 in when they lost in San Francisco when they had the lead late, the near misses for him, it doesn't take a lot of imagination to have this guy with 2 more Super Bowl appearances at least. Who knows if they would have won. 2 more Super Bowl appearances at least on his resume. And it just seems like he's been a little bit snake bit on some of these things.
It's fair. But, Stidham, they were so busy pumping him up with confidence to try and make plays that you had to shift that when you had the lead. And that approach, because he had another one, too, that was eerily similar to the biggest play of the game where he, loses the ball, it goes backwards, and you set him up at the 13-yard line to punch in their only touchdown of the game. He's got to be okay with taking a sack there. This is okay. I mean, don't compromise. And he's a veteran, too. And his situational awareness for when they are with a 7-point lead, I'm not saying you don't have to make a play the rest of the game, but there's a time to, concede your losses and not magnify them. And he did a very poor job on that play. What was he doing on that play? I mean, Aaron Brooks crap? I mean, what was that? I mean, you I know you haven't thrown a pass this whole season, but damn it, you've been around and you've been collecting a check long enough in this league. No, that's not the spot when you got a lead. I don't care how early it is because New England's offense was not doing anything. How long was New England's longest drive of the game? I guess to start the second half with a field goal, huh? Yeah, they chewed up like 9 minutes. By far their best. Yeah. That drive that ended in a field goal, game-winning drive.
16 plays, 9.5 minutes. And they get the field goal out of that. Most of the rest of them, they had another 8-play drive, but everything else was pretty much 3 or 4 and out the rest of the day. We're here at Big Mike's in Denham Springs. Again, we'll get a little bit of a later start today. The restaurant will open at noon today, so be careful as you're moving around the city here today in Denham Springs. But, of course, Big Mike's, we've been coming here for many, many years, a real staple here in Denham Springs in the community, with the local athletics, local causes, and, of course, great place to come in here and get a cocktail. One of the best happy hours anywhere from 3 to 7 Monday through Friday and all day starting at 11 a.m. on Sunday. It's $2.50 domestic beer, draft, and bottles, $4 wells, and $5 wine. Remember, during your sports seasons, they're open a little bit late on Friday nights. Live entertainment on the weekends. They do trivia here during the week. They do line dancing. Big Mike's in Denham Springs, a great place to come watch a game. They got upgraded their screens here in the last year. Got some really, really great views here at Big Mike's on Aspen Square in Denham Springs. Live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from Big Mike's Sports Bar and Grill in Denham Springs on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Remember, you can always get the show on demand, 1045ESPN.com, LouisianaSports.net, Hannycast on YouTube with the video breakdowns of the portal class. We're going to talk about the portal class here in just a little bit. That is all brought to you by Supreme Rice and SupremeRice.com, supporting our Louisiana farmers since the 1930s. As a matter of fact, it is their 90th anniversary. We were just on Saturday night, our 100-year anniversary for Guarantee, and Supreme Rice is celebrating here in 2026 their 90th anniversary since 1936. So they got some cool stuff coming up. By the way, it's Captain Supreme Rice's birthday today. By the way, happy birthday, Stupak! The 90th anniversary of Supreme Rice this year. All right, Super Bowl 60 is now set. The Seahawks and the Patriots. The Seahawks opened a 3.5-point favorite. They are now a 4.5-point favorite. Jimmy, the projected line was 3.5. That's where it opened. It has been moved up a point now to 4.5. It's hard for me. I know we got 2 weeks of this, but I just kind of wanted your first glance. It's hard for me to not take the Seahawks at anything less than a touchdown, given what I've seen them do and the level of teams that they have played and what the Patriots have done. Ordinarily, I'd rather take points, but it's very tough, at least at first glance, for me not to really like Seattle in this spot.
Look at New England's path.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been –
you got the Chargers without their starting two tackles. Okay, now they were without one of those guys, Rashawn Slater, for the whole year and Alt for a lot of the season. So that Charger team had some time to regroup, but they were without those two guys. The Texans were without their leading receiver for the whole game and their second leading receiver for more than half of the game in Dalton Schultz and Nico Collins. And then they get the Broncos without their starting quarterback. They've caught a few breaks.
Well, and also Houston's level of play at quarterback for the game
was abysmal. It's the worst game I've seen C.J. Stroud play.
I mean, they have been handed some touchdowns. You know, as little as they've scored, I mean, should have scored less. You were
handed a touchdown in this game.
Handed that ridiculous little pop-up for the pick six against them. And, I mean, they did – no, it's been a very unimpressive path for New England to get here. I mean, look, give Vrabel coach. That's why he's good. I mean, he don't care how ugly or how pretty it is. He's got him in the game. Patriots history is very, very similar to the Tony Eason-led 1985 path. They went to Oakland and won the turnover battle. Oakland was fumbling kickoffs and fumbling everything else, and then they went to Miami, and same thing. So they won the turnover battle. Now, this Seattle team is not even close to the 85 Bears. Let's not do that. But the path to get here, it's pretty unimpressive. The only thing was New England was a 2 seed in the AFC in the playoffs this year. They were not a 2 seed back in '85 when Eason and them led it. But Eason was Very, very careful. Just don't beat them. They let other teams beat themselves. And, having to win twice on the road, and they go into the Super Bowl, and they were no match. Seattle's path is a little bit more impressive, but they, they were at home in both games. The Rams, it just doesn't seem like, is it only Matthew Stafford could put up yardage numbers against Seattle? Nobody else has come close, and he's just shredded them. I mean, basically the last two trips to Seattle, he's basically averaged 500 yards of offense. I mean, made him look very, very mediocre defensively. We know that's not the case.
No, that's why he's the MVP of the league. He's playing at that kind of level, and you've got one of the where you got Puka Nacua, top 5, top 3,
top 2.
Those two guys are two of the best.
He's the best quarterback in the league this year.
Yeah, he was. So Nacua is an elite receiver. You got him, Smith and Jigba on the other side. Probably Chase, St. Brown. I mean Jefferson. You put those 5 in a hat. That's fine. That's the top 5.
Whatever.
Okay, so you have an elite receiver and a quarterback that is playing at the absolute top of his game. The only other team that I thought did that to Seattle was when Tampa went in there, and that was way back in September. And Mayfield had a huge game, and I think that game finished 38-35, and that's it.
He was unbelievable. Yes,
he had a great day that day. That's it. Everybody else,
because the Rams didn't do that to everybody else's defense. Much lighter defenses.
No,
you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's just a matchup deal. But now they didn't do it in the first game in L.A. Darnold gave them that.
That was a 21-19 game.
And don't you think, look, we're going to break this thing down left and right. I get it. But isn't that the chance that New England has? Vrabel and the defense devising some plays into some Darnold mistakes?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, is May not capable of making plays? He hasn't, but he's capable.
You brought up the Easton Patriots. I was thinking, this isn't an exact comparison, but the team I was thinking about was their first Super Bowl win. Yeah, well, the first Super Bowl win, the 2001 season. Now, they beat better teams in the playoffs that year.
This team.
That team wasn't supposed to be there.
Brady, I know, but that was a running the ball defense, game management deal. May has made way more. In
the regular season.
He's going to be,
but not in the playoffs.
No, not in the playoffs. But still, they a lot more explosive. And then you get to the schedule. And the schedule is real. And the schedule seems to be more validated, or the lack of schedule seems to be more validated because they've struggled so much in the postseason offensively. They haven't done very much at all. And so you wonder how much of those offensive numbers and that record has been inflated. But the coach is so good, man, and he gives them a chance. And there's been a lot of really good coaching jobs, but they don't. And they gave you a little sneak preview in the locker room. Said, man, we don't care. Trust me, everybody wants to make plays. I get it. But you win, everybody's going to get taken care of in this locker room. And it seems like he's got a handle on it. And he's going to get Coach of the Year, and he deserves it in a very, very crowded class of 7 or so coaches that on any other given year might have won it. I mean, that's how strong the coaching jobs and, how your team exceeds expectations. There were tons of them this year, including a guy named McDonald, who's probably going to be runner-up, for the award this year. But Vrabel still gives teams a chance. And Darnold was good yesterday.
He was great yesterday.
He was good. He was good. And, but now you're going to take him off of his comfort zone outside of that home environment. And let's see if he can do it in his first Super Bowl stage. We'll see. Everything's magnified, and I got to believe Vrabel is going to do some things that might give him a chance. Certainly in that Superdome, that not post 9/11 that I was there against the high-flying Rams, and the Rams were 14-point favorites. And they devised a play to get a defensive score, on it with Ty Law, pick 6.
It was, yeah.
They did it, and they shortened the game, and the Rams scrambled back to get it tied, but Vrabel is a Belichick understudy. And so, that comparison is very fair. And we're dealing with a 5-point spread instead of a 4.5-point spread instead of a 14-point spread. But back then Brady was, hey, just don't beat us. That's what his role was in that year, and that's why it was so. They didn't know if they were going to try and even just go to overtime or let him throw the ball. They made him make some safe throws, but that was not a given. They were going to let the sport's all-time best let him try and get in field goal range.
No, going into those playoffs,
Madden even said it. Says,
yeah.
I don't know.
Going into those playoffs, there was thought, well, is Bledsoe going to come back and get his job back next year?
Because he did in the AFC Championship game in the first half against Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
And then and then Brady shook it off and came back and played and finished the second half. But no, that was because Bledsoe led him down to a touchdown.
Yeah, he did.
He threw a touchdown in that Pittsburgh.
What got me to thinking about that team was the play yesterday where it should have been a touchdown. They should have let it go. And New England ended up scoring on the drive anyway, so it ended up not mattering. But if they hadn't scored, I'm like, okay, 2001 had the tuck rule, and they're going to have this play that was essentially blown dead that should not have been blown dead. As it turned out, it didn't.
The tuck
matter.
rule was that same year?
That was their first playoff game that year against the Raiders.
Another snow
in
game.
the snow.
Vinatieri's out there. Of all people, Jerry Rice was handling it better than anybody. He seemed to have better footing and had a really big game as far as that game standards. Probably the most productive receiver in that game. So yeah,
at what 38 or so.
He's with the Raiders.
Yeah,
so
deep
he's
into
his career. There's no doubt. Don't forget our friends at Legacy Title, Chad Reynolds and Legacy Title for all of you real estate closings. 296-0060. Full service title company servicing all of South Louisiana. Fast, friendly, professional services, which you get when you call 296-0060. Buying, building, refinancing. Our great team at Legacy Title: Ashley Donald, Adrian Galata, Michael Platt, Mariana Haynes, Natalie, and Bradford Smith. Buying, building, refinancing. Nobody choose but you. Choose Chad Reynolds and Legacy Title. 296-0060.
Live at Big Mike's in Denham Springs, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from Big Mike's Sports Bar and Grill in Denham Springs on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Back here, Big Mike's, where every Monday night is all-you-can-eat boiled shrimp, starting at 5 o'clock all the way until close. Wednesday night is dollar wings and line dancing also on Wednesday nights. Live music, we tell you, every weekend. Coming up this weekend on Saturday, Jared Kelly will be here. So come on out to Big Mike's this weekend or tonight again, all-you-can-eat boiled shrimp. Friday night, the final piece, I think, of LSU's portal class, signed with LSU offensive lineman Jordan Seaton from Colorado. Seaton, who is a potential number one pick in the NFL draft in 2027, two-year starter at Colorado, was a five-star kid out of IMG, originally from D.C., plugs in at a position at LSU, was going to have to kind of, I thought, do a little bit of experimenting in the spring with all these new linemen that are coming in to see who would fit in at left tackle. Seaton makes that kind of a moot point. He's a plug-in-and-play starter from jump, and not just a starter, but an elite-level player, somebody that Oregon wanted very, very badly. And Jimmy, when you're in a poker game with Phil Knight, you better bring your wallet. Mm-hmm. We don't know how much Seaton ended up costing them, but it was not cheap, and he went through the whole process. Miami was a player there as well. At the end, Maryland was just trying to get a visit, was offering him money for a visit just to get him on campus in the last weekend because he's originally from the D.C. area. This class now, Jimmy, this final touch on it is, I mean, I know the transfer portal hasn't been in existence for that long, but it's hard to imagine that there's been any better of a run than what Kiffin has done here in less than 2 months.
At this time.
Yeah.
You have to see how it plays out ultimately. But, who was talking about his his transfer class. I mean, his portal class the last 2 years at Ole Miss was pretty good. I mean, they weren't talking about 2 years ago.
That's, that's why I got the name Portal King. He's done a very good job in this.
But, he also had some guys that were very productive that nobody was talking about at this time. And all you got to do is look at his 2 all-conference, skill position players, his quarterback and his quarterback and running back. Nobody was talking about those guys, last year at this time. So, got outbid by Swarsby to start off this whole process. It's pretty much didn't get outbid by on anybody else.
No, and they put their dollars. This is kind of like an NFL team. Where are you going to put your money? I'm going to put my money at quarterback. I'm going to put my money at left tackle. I'm going to put my money at pass rusher. Okay, and in the NFL you would put your money at corner as well. This team didn't need corners. The one place that they were set. But you put your big money, you get an all-conference type player at all 3 of those positions. And then you got a bunch of wide receivers. See, they didn't go after Cam Coleman, the elite receiver from Auburn. He ended up at Texas.
Alabama was after him hard.
Yeah, he's a big they got some very good receivers in this class. Some explosive big play guys, high yards per reception. But I don't know if any of those guys were the most expensive players in this. They got quantity. I mean, they 10 of them in that class. Well, he's produced an awful lot of good receivers up at
I was talking to Paul Stone last week when they talking about was LSU going to get Seton? If they're going to get Seton, it's going to cost them.
It did.
So
it did.
How much did you have the support for that position because of what happened last year with this offensive line?
I think a lot, and I'm
even though it's a different staff.
I'm of the opinion that Kiffin's almost doing this backwards. He's going to get the players, and then he's going to find the money rather than, hey, give me some money and I'll go get you some players. It's like, hey, listen, I got this kid, Jordan Seton, who is absolutely the best player that we can add at a position of need. I need $5 million or whatever, and he finds it. It's contrary to what they. $5 million? I don't know if it's $5 million. It might be $4 million. They started at $2.5 million. I can only imagine it went up from there. This kid wasn't even a slam dunk to be in the portal at all. I mean, he came in a little bit later. I don't remember. I didn't cover Colorado this year all that close, but I don't remember it being a foregone conclusion that this kid was even going in the portal this year because he didn't jump in the first day. For all I knew, he was going to stay.
He was a high-profile guy, obviously, that when Coach Prime was getting all the love, even though it was everything was just the coverage of, Sanders in Colorado is so reactionary. And no matter what publicity they got, they'll take it. I mean, they were relevant again. People were paying attention to Colorado out of nowhere when it was just a brutally tough place to recruit and to win. Kind of being kicked around, kind of floating around from different conference to different conference, and not one of the elite, not one of the prize jewels in conference realignment. And so, Prime gives them a chance. It's like Kentucky, Ole Miss's team, getting a coach. So we'll put up with some of the shenanigans, and we just want to be talked about. We'll just be in a little bit in the spotlight, be a player. And he was one of that guy, and he thought that in Deion, that was the only really interior lineman on both sides of this type of magnitude that he recruited. Because no matter what you think of Sanders and, the Liberty transfer and Salter and the other guys, they're running for their lives. Protection, the offensive line has been an issue. And this guy's been by himself, with that unit. So, I mean, to the point where, are you really surprised we watching Shedeur Sanders with the Browns when he starts just running backwards on some plays? Because that's what he did.
Yeah.
So for so many times at college.
They put a highlight tape of him up yesterday of Seton on ESPN, and it included some. He didn't have a whole lot of holding penalties, but he had a few. And it's like, well, I guess he did his freshman year because, Sanders was running around forever back there. Those guys had to pass block at some, 7-8 seconds on some of those plays.
Not just that, but when you run it out of the pocket, well, that's where I'm protecting. I mean, so you can stay in the pocket, but because the other pieces of the offensive line he was running. So it's a frustrating thing, and just one guy can't carry an offensive line by himself, obviously. So he's kind of stuck out like a sore thumb on Colorado's offensive line the last couple of years because he's done enough to impress NFL scouts.
Yeah,
where he's going, he's projected as a top 10 pick next year.
He's got really good feet, for somebody that big. The class overall is layered almost perfectly. It addressed every position. You have stars and you have what are, pretty obvious role players on this thing. I told you yesterday on Football Sunday, I thought the most unlikely player that he got in this entire class was Husan Longstreet, the 5-star quarterback from USC, who sat out his entire freshman year and who he signed knowing full well that Sam Leavitt had already signed with LSU at that point, and as long as the foot heals, it's going to be LSU starting quarterback. Longstreet would have been guaranteed a starting spot a lot of other places, and instead is coming here. You've layered this thing as about as perfectly as you can.
So if you were Longstreet's father or handler or agent, you had you're in his corner. Is this not a calculated move to be patient and then learn for a year and then take over the next year in a system of a coach who's every quarterback he's had is quarterback friendly, although it's not the best system to prepare you for the pros.
Yeah.
You one look and run type of guys, and still we have to see about Jackson Dart. It appears he's got a chance, but it's no given either way. I mean, he at least shown you some signs that he has a chance to be pretty good. The getting down, just sliding, he's got to do it. He's going to lose that battle, but no other quarterback has come close to having a chance at the pro level under Kiffin. They've all put up unbelievable numbers at college. So how is it different from, say, with Steve Spurrier's guys, in the heyday of the fun and gun, they always put up numbers, but they weren't prepared to go and play at the next level. Product of the system. The multiple Texas Tech coaches, or Hal Mummy, where you put up all kinds of numbers and you don't play any defense, and those guys, minus Mahomes, goes on and is prepared for the NFL. So it's a little catch-22, but as far as putting up college numbers, and Dart's key for Kiffin to sell that. No, I'm getting my guys ready for the pros too, because until this point, and we still, the jury's still out on him. But early returns, at least he has a chance.
The if you want to call it a criticism, I really don't, but it's almost that he's made it too easy for his quarterbacks compared to what they will face at the next level.
All of those guys, we talked about. Yes, absolutely. But sometimes as far as projecting guys at the next level, be careful on the guys that come from really well-coached programs. The biggest bust going from high school to college are the most successful, well-coached high schools. They're finished products. They're put in position because of their coaching to succeed way more than just individual. Marshall Falk, the coach went too strong when they went 0-10 his senior year at Carver. But it's just how much is it to that the kid from UCLA transferred, another California area guy, goes to Oregon and waits his turn, and it seems like it's working out for him. If he comes out this year, where's he going to go? Top 5?
Number 2, probably.
Okay, but he's still willing to wait. He's got options.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe, hey man, that kind of worked out for him. This guy wasn't more highly rated than Moore.
Yeah.
They're both 5 stars, right?
Let me go back to your original question, which is if you were advising him.
Yeah, if you were in his corner.
I would advise him, with absolutely no skin in the game myself, to say, get in there where you can learn, get the number of starts, we talk about that all the time, over the course of your career, and don't rush it. But it's hard to talk a 19-year-old into that when you're saying the magic word, be patient, okay? Well, nobody wants to be patient. Everybody, I want to play. I want to play right now. I want my money. And that's a pretty strong statement.
What about
that
Chambliss, his NFL stock? How did it go from 1 year with Kiffin?
Skyrocketed.
So
if he has to stay in this draft, if he gets denied that waiver, there's an outside chance he could go in the first round. He's probably a day 2 pick, but there's an outside chance he could go in the first round.
Don't forget our friends at United Community Bank, the local way to bank big, with locations from Baton Rouge to Golden Meadow. We've been serving the people of Southern Louisiana for over 50 years. Our friends over at United Community Bank, a great team of bankers: Prentice Wilkes, Heath Meir, Nicole Glover, Hunter Creed, David Campbell, David Henry. United Community Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Live at Big Mike's in Denham Springs, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from Big Mike's Sports Bar and Grill in Denham Springs on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-you-can-eat boiled shrimp tonight here at Big Mike, starting at 5 o'clock. Restaurant, a little bit of a late start today as the staff got in. We will be opening here at the top of the hour. Coaching carousel continues to turn. Steelers and Mike McCarthy? That surprise you at all?
Coach Aaron Rodgers, huh?
I don't think that's.
I don't
think he's going to get a chance to do that again. I think Rodgers is going to retire.
The only Super Bowl they won, huh? With Rodgers, beat Pittsburgh and Dallas. McCarthy did he not go 11-5 3 straight years at Dallas?
Yeah. I think that's right.
That's pretty good.
He's a good coach. If the Saints had hired him, I wouldn't have said anything bad about that hire. I would have been fine with it. It's just that the Steelers, well, you don't have a whole lot of hires to go on because there have been so few coaches, but they have gone with very young coaches in the past, young coaches in their 30s. I think probably what it says is, hey, listen, we can't count on doing that again. We did it 3 straight times where we got guys in here for 15 years or more. In this landscape, that's probably not going to happen again, so we're going to get the best guy, and if he's here for 5 years or 6 years, 7 years, whatever, we'll take that. We're not hiring a guy expecting him to be here for 19 seasons like Tomlin was.
Poor Tomlin, boy, he got that opportunity very, very early.
So did Cowher.
Nobody else could do what Tomlin did, huh? You can't go that many years in the NFL without a losing record.
No, I can't.
I mean, nobody, huh?
From this day forward, how many coaches do you think are going to coach 19 years at one place? I mean, we may never see that again.
Over-under is a half.
Yeah. I mean, much less with a winning season.
Harbaugh was at Baltimore how long? 16?
He was
16?
It was 17 years, I think it was, for Harbaugh at Baltimore. 16 or 17. Probably not going to see either one of those kind of tenures again. Live at Big Mike's, live at lunch here in Denham Springs, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from Big Mike's Sports Bar and Grill in Denham Springs on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Back here at Big Mike's, live at lunch. We're open now, getting an hour later start here today to allow the staff to get in. But all you can eat boiled shrimp every Monday night, starting at 5 o'clock all the way until close. Wednesday night, it's dollar wings. And, of course, a great happy hour here Monday through Friday and all day on Sunday, 3 to 7 weekdays, and starting at 11 o'clock in the morning on Sundays. You can get $2.50 beer, domestic bottles, and draft, $4 wells, and $5 wine. Line dancing here on Wednesday nights, and live music every weekend. This weekend on Saturday, Jared Kelly will be here. So come on over and see us here at Big Mike's. Jimmy, last week, you and I, we've actually kicked this topic around a couple of times about where, with this portal class, LSU's preseason ranking will be next year, right?
8.
Okay. You said closer to 10, and I said, or inside the top 10, and I said closer to 15. So On3 did a survey of 9 different outlets doing their way too early top 25s. This is ESPN, CBS, USA Today, Fox, The Athletic, Yahoo Sports, and they came up with a composite of the rankings for next year of all of the people that do this. So you want to take a shot? You have not seen this list. You want to take a shot at, well, first of all, who the top 5 will be, and then where you think LSU will be.
Texas, Ohio State, 1-2 in any order.
Ohio State is number 1. Texas is number 3.
Notre Dame.
Notre Dame is number 6.
So you said Ohio State is number 1?
Ohio State is number 1. Texas is number 3. Notre Dame is number 6. Google me.
Indiana. Yeah.
Indiana.
That's too high.
Indiana at number 2.
High.
Probably so.
Yeah, that's too high.
Breaking in a new quarterback.
Yeah,
but that's where
I understand. They just carry over. But go ahead. Okay. That's where we are with Indiana. I get it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you got 2 other. Who else you think would be in the top 5?
Oregon.
Number 5.
Texas Tech, Georgia, Texas A&M.
Georgia's number 4. Texas Tech is number 7. You're doing really well at this. Who else? Texas A&M.
No A&M.
Texas A&M is number 8, tied for 8th.
Well, that's where LSU's supposed to be.
Well, they're not. They're not. They're tied for 8th, but not with LSU.
9 or 10 then.
Miami is tied with 8 for 8th.
So LSU 10. Not in the top 10.
They're not in the top 10, but they're just outside of it. They're number 12.
Okay.
Oklahoma's number 10. BYU's 11.
Where can we get down
12.
on that? I got they finish under 10, under 12.
Call the guys at on 3. See if Shea Dixon will take you bet.
He'll fade that heat, baby.
Alabama number 16. This is going to be
Doesn't surprise me.
the lowest preseason ranking for them since Saban's first year. Penn State last year number 2 or number 1, depending on where you looked in the preseason, down at 17. Ole Miss 13, right behind
no.
LSU.
Penn State was 2. Remember, Texas was 1.
Yeah, Penn State was 2. This year, number 17. And out of the
Where's Virginia Tech?
Virginia Tech is not in the run. They would if you take the votes down, they would have been 27. Would have been 27. There's some big schools in here that are not ranked. Tennessee is not ranked. Florida is not ranked. Clemson is not ranked. So you got some hitters.
Oklahoma's going to be top 15, huh?
Number 10.
Oh, number 10.
They are number 10. Mateer is going back.
Right, he's back. And
yeah. Michigan, first year under Whittingham, 14. Alabama, 16. USC, number 15.
So Miami is where?
Tied for 8th.
And they don't know who their quarterback is.
Not at this moment, no.
I mean, we think it's going to be Mensa, but
yeah, so they got to win that. I tell you what, whoever's repping him, when they asked him what is the deadline for enrollment at these particular schools, and he didn't know. It's like, wow, okay, that's kind of important if you want to expedite this when you need to get in school to be able to go to spring practice. So that I would have some doubts about his.
What, they asked Mensa?
No, they asked his agent, and he was like, I'm not really sure when that is. And they're like, really?
No, that's his best quote, because, and listen, this is common with a lot of transfers. I mean, that's why people think, the academics are such a joke, because you're bouncing around. And when you transfer, is usually a chunk of your credits that don't transfer over.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, what are you doing? You're just kind of spinning your wheels to a degree when you keep jumping, so you're really not making progress towards your degree. And that's my favorite quote of Mensa is, Ole Miss just made it happen.
Yeah,
with the credits transfer, they just made it happen.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that are just happening. The amount of academic casualties has dwindled to pretty much
so
zero.
Where's Ole
these days.
Miss?
13, right behind LSU. Don't you? You want to talk about a hard?
Well, you got to see if they're going to get.
If
Chambliss.
Chambliss going to be the quarterback or not. I mean
Chambliss is Simmons. Simmons would be their back. He's still there, huh?
Nope. He went to Missouri.
Oh, he did. So who the heck?
Deuce Knight of Auburn.
That's right.
He got all the playing time. But it was a crowded house. He had such strong quarterback play this year. That was tough for him. Huh?
He lit up Elon. I know that.
Right.
was awesome in that.
You know where the state Elon is in Charlie?
I know
South Carolina, right?
Landon
Or
Clark.
North Carolina.
North
Carolina.
There you go.
Sorry.
There you go.
If you ask me what was one player on Elon's team, I could tell you.
Yeah, the kid that
Yeah, the
played quarterback for
quarterback.
LSU.
Landon Clark.
Yeah.
Vanderbilt, number 25.
Okay. It'll be fun to watch them this year. No, Diego is such a big part of what they did, but they've put together 2 successful seasons. They just finally finished their renovation of their stadium. And, some people around Vandy just say, in Nashville say, you know what, I'm finally sitting in the stadium, feel like this place is trying. And so they're willing to support where they can see some results. So Clark Lee, that's as much as Signetti gets, and he does, he deserves it, okay? Clark Lee is not too far behind as far as getting it done in this league. Don't you think I saw an improved roster based on them building a little momentum with Diego's first year.
They beat LSU up front.
Yeah.
They beat LSU up front. That'll tell you
Yeah.
a lot about what he has done
Yeah.
there. I mean, you want to talk about round peg fits. I mean, Clark Lee and what he's done at Vanderbilt.
Pavia did do so much. They're going to have to. They got to. All the other. They're going to take it. It's highly unlikely they're going to be able to find a quarterback who's as effective as Pavia was. Okay, that's obvious. But everybody else should be a little bit stronger. And there is finally some grounds. And we see it, man, where these starving teams, these starving fan base, these starving private donor bases, the ride up is always Lee's got to strike while the iron's hot and get those and get that support. And I think it's coming.
Speaking of, you brought up.
Vandy guys got money.
Yes. Quite certain that many of the graduates of that fine institution have gone on to a lot of financial success. You brought up the academics. That was a topic. Did you see Dabo on Friday afternoon?
I watched the whole thing. It was like 10, 12 minutes or whatever.
You saw the 10, 12 minutes that got posted. He went on for 2 hours. Okay.
Oh,
he was up there for that. I read this. I didn't see it all.
I kind of lost interest when it kind of get to the 10-minute mark. I was like, okay, well, all right. I get the point.
He basically lit Ole Miss on fire, and the coach in particular, Pete Golding. But once you got past that, the part I read about was he is advocating for the same thing that Nick Saban advocated for, which is a transfer portal window that is well into the second semester, into March, and taking spring football and turn it into organized team activities that can take place anytime you want between May and July, and giving you 15 days of OTAs in that spot, and actually allow – listen, I'm not – if I were at Clemson, I'd be pretty steamed that Dabo hadn't worked the portal the last couple of years until you finally discovered I'm going to have to do this now. But his comments about the calendar, I don't think he's the only one that thinks that. And Saban's a pretty loud voice. I don't know. Are we a year away from that? Are we 2 years away from that?
Personally, I'd discount any time he said because he's sour grapes. He's doing it after he lost a guy. Tell me when it doesn't impact you. I mean, and so the time is just discounted by me.
On the one player.
I can't get into prediction of what the NCAA is doing, Charlie. I just know the rules right now. There are no rules. So get after it and hustle and quit crying. They're winners and whiners.
I'm not talking about the one player, not the tampering charge. I'm talking about his thoughts about the calendar. And if you get enough coaches that start to say this,
it's the same timing where you just lost a player, right?
It is. It was all in the same. It was all in the same press conference.
Yeah, he wants to fix everything after he got screwed.
Right message, wrong messenger. Okay,
of course, poor timing. I mean, don't give me that's just me. I mean, tell me when it doesn't affect you. Tell me if it's in the best interest of the sport. Don't give it to me with a sour grapes tone. And and it's funny coming from him because they finally had it figured out, and they had the approach where, like, okay, here's the rules. Well, this is how the game's played. Hey, woman in compliance, you're killing us. We're going to give you a promotion and just get you out of compliance. Okay, we're going to do this, and then boom, they hit their peak. Well, it's an evolution of the sport and the roster building. And then he completely wants to shut down and restrict himself. Well, that's
And
adapt or die.
I can listen to that. I don't necessarily disagree with anything you're saying about Sweeney, but what he is saying, in my opinion, is true.
Somebody else has to say it.
Okay, well that's fine.
Him.
But that calendar and listen, if you got a kid signed and on your campus and in your classroom, and then he can go back on this and basically say, well, that contract that I signed last week is no longer good. I'm not for that either.
I got to hear from who in this new era of lawlessness, basically, and 7 years, of eligibility. Who's benefited the most? Well, Indiana certainly. They're not the old rules. They're not winning the national championship.
No.
Is that fair?
Yes.
Okay, so let me hear from Cignetti. Okay. What about Texas Tech? They're much more a player.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me hear from them. That's the guys I want to see. You're still benefiting, and you still know that this is not in the best interest, and this has no longevity. And that's the guys I want. To me, I know I'm a little bit different, but now don't give me the sour grapes.
It's always better when it comes from somebody.
He's such a whiner, man. Such a whiner. We'll kick their ass when they come in here. Labor Day weekend.
It's going to be a full house. There's a little bit of excitement around the LSU program right now. I'm sure you've noticed.
You don't have to worry about the actual attendance for the opener. The Tiger fan base is a little excited. Yes,
I told somebody this at the party on Saturday night that asked me about what do you think about it. I said I am friends with some of the most pessimistic, cynical fans in the world. The kind of people that say, well, he won the Heisman Trophy, but let's see if he can do it again type. And they're happy. They're happy. Just like, wow, this guy's really done. Kiffin posted Saturday night a meal. I don't know where he was eating, but it was a really nice meal. And I wanted to see the comments, and it was like, you earned it, Coach. You take the day off. You do whatever you want, Coach. I mean, right now, he's the Grand Marshal at Endymion. He's going to Co Grand Marshal. He's going to ride the Tiger.
They don't feel that Grand Marshal space this late in the game usually.
Okay,
but they sure push.
They made an exception.
Who's the obscure guy that they had as the other? They he went from Grand Marshal to Co.
I have no idea.
I'm not familiar
Max, you
with
don't
him.
know?
I know. I
didn't recognize.
I want to see
his
if
name.
he can actually ride.
I didn't recognize
Tiger.
his name. So
was LSU Clemson LSU's best win this year? Best game this year? Did they play the best in that game?
Was that their best win?
Their best game.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, Dabo gave him a 65, if you remember. He graded him.
Well, he just knew it was coming.
He knew his team wasn't that good either, I think, at that point.
Oh, Arthur Hardy is a Mardi Gras historian.
So,
and Lane Kiffin is got a lot of historian to him.
Does he? I want to see him ride that Tiger.
This guy, they're going to sit at the table and they're going to be trading. Arthur is going to fill him in on all the Mardi Gras history, and Lane's going to fill him in on hot yoga techniques.
And portal transfers. We're brought to you by the Thibodeau Store, the Pierre Part Store, now open in LaRose and Lockport.
Sorry, Arthur. Go.
Keep your indoor spaces clean this season as we into the new year. A ton of discounts on cleaning and storage supplies at the website. If they don't have it, you don't need it. Same day pickup when you order on site. A lot of these items are open for delivery. Reliable storage for your all of the stuff you need to get socked away. Outdoor power equipment, outdoor cooking, patio furniture, tool storage, power and hand tools, all at the Thibodeau Store. 900 St. Patrick Highway in Thibodeau, Highway 70 in Pierre Part. Get on by today or go online. You get to all four of the properties at thethibodeaustore.com.
Yeah, Arthur Hardy was just announced January 24th. Is that right? So is this late? But anyway, who the Grand Marshal was last year, huh?
I do not. I don't remember.
LSU's biggest influencer.
Flaugier?
Livy.
Oh, Livy. Okay.
Flaugier's got more followers than Livy?
I was thinking.
I would think not, huh?
Not quite.
Okay. I'll fill you guys in on this social media stuff.
Please
Don't you worry, okay?
Yeah, and I know that's your corner of the store.
That's my specialty, Charlie.
For sure. Live at Big Mike's, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Lunch with Ott and Hanny from Big Mike's Sports Bar and Grill in Denham Springs on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All you can eat boiled shrimp every Monday night here at Big Mike's, starting at 5 o'clock. It's Dollar Wings every Wednesday night to go along with the line dancing here at Big Mike's on Aspen Square in Denham Springs. LSU basketball fell to 1-6 in the league. They lose to Arkansas 85-81 on Saturday. It was a game effort by LSU, who led at the half and really played. I don't know if that's as good as they can play, but that's probably one of their best played games of the year. Just was not enough. They shot the ball pretty well from the floor, although not from three-point range, which has kind of been the bugaboo all year for them. They just don't have a whole lot of firepower from behind the arc to do make their free throws. But they out-rebounded Arkansas. They kept the turnovers in single digits. They played really hard. De'Don Thomas looked an awful lot more comfortable this game than he did in his first game back from the injury. But that wasn't enough. And the reason is because Arkansas has a top 10 player in the country, top 5 maybe, in Darius Acuff, a likely lottery pick in next year's NBA draft. And in the second half especially, LSU just didn't have anybody that could slow him down, and he ended up with 31 points. And that's kind of the deal with this team, Jimmy. It's not that he's not getting strong efforts out of these guys. It's not that they're not playing hard for him. It's just that there's just not enough talent on his team to – and we're not saying anything new here. We've been saying it since the beginning of the season. But it was on display, I thought, on Saturday. They're just – even at their best, they're maybe – the 12th or 13th best team in the league, and that's at their best. That's if they play really well. I don't know.
You see a lot of effort on the defensive end?
I don't think they play good defense. I think they hustle, if that means anything to you.
Really?
I think they hustle most of the time.
I think there's an effort issue on the defensive end.
Okay.
I can't buy it that every team you play, a guy just lights it up. Oh, this guy had a career high. This guy had a career high. This team shot this. This guy. South Carolina. At some point, you're the common denominator.
Yeah, they're a very poor closeout team.
Do we not agree that half of defense is effort?
Yeah, they're a very poor closeout team. I'll say that. I give them credit on the rebounding edge that they had on Saturday. That I thought that they were playing hard. They out-rebounded Arkansas by pretty good margin. I think it was 8 on the road. So. That's a hustle stat. But if you're asking me, do I think that they close out well? No, I don't. Not.
Whatever the defensive categories you want to close your eyes and throw a dart. Charlie, it's just, and it's been consistent with his tenure at LSU. It's.
No, that's fair.
To me,
Arkansas shot 57%
Matt,
from the floor.
You go to every home game.
I think some of their defensive problems specifically is some players that get out of position, and then the help comes late, and then somebody's wide open. That's why their perimeter defense is bad. There's always a kick out that's open because the help defense is so necessary for this team that if somebody gets blown by, especially one of these guards, it ends up leaving an open man, and then the closeout really can come too late at that point anyway. But for what it's worth, the offense was way better in this game, and we expected that because Thomas was back. He's actually 6th in the country in assist rate for any player in the country. We saw the offense with him on the floor versus anyone else on the floor is substantially different. And even in the games in which he does play, when he's not on the floor, they take a significant nosedive in terms of offensive looks and movement and production. And their defense isn't good enough.
I don't disagree with you that Thomas makes a difference. The problem is they still can't shoot. They got the second fewest three-pointers made in the Southeastern Conference for the course of the season, and that's playing that absolute garbage schedule that they played. They've got one guy that is a reliable three-point shooter in McKinnon. He makes 1 3-pointer out of 7 on Saturday, so you end up with 3 out of 15. Arkansas makes 10. Okay, so you can't keep up if you can't. You have to have some kind of threat from the 3-point range, and they just don't. They don't have
what's
another
the record in the league this year?
1-6.
15-46 conference record.
Yep.
Which is not only
that's
the worst in the
below 250.
Not only the worst record in the league over that span. But when they finish this season, this is going to rank among the worst 4-year runs in the history of the Southeastern Conference. I mean, even Rick Ray, I think, had a higher winning percentage.
Who had the roughest run of LSU coach?
Basketball?
Any sport.
Curly Holman. This is my automatic answer to that without thinking about it too much.
32.2% of his conference games he won.
He won 32%. So this guy is 7% worse than Curly Holman?
He got some work to do in this season to catch Curly.
I wouldn't.
Charlie,
how many
times when they need a stop, they get it in a close game?
Outside of the SMU game and maybe a couple against Missouri, not really.
So
defense is their issue.
So this game Saturday. Let's just talk this game Saturday. Were they in position? Like 5 minutes to go.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
And how many stops did they get? I mean, Arkansas scored every trip.
Scored 52 points in the second half.
They made 9
Max,
straight
tell
field
me,
goals.
tell me what conference games are they going to close down the stretch and they get the stop? They just don't, man. And then how many? The guy from South Carolina. Well, he's just hot tonight. How many these guys just have career?
You're right.
I mean, go. They do a poor job of identifying when a guy is about to get hot. They also just, it's just you look at the opposing offenses. I'm not going into the non-conference game because it's garbage, but in the SEC, what team didn't perform offensively better than their average when they played LSU?
Without looking, I'd probably say
very few.
None of them.
And so, whether it's effort, whether it's being out of position, poorly coached, don't have athletes, don't have good defenders, don't have a rim, whatever it is. Kind of pick your spot because the South Carolina guy, well, he's hit his first five. He's never done this before. Well, they're just over and over those type of performances from their opponents on offense.
And I think it's important that Thomas plays.
Max's point. The guy, even in
for another reason. You can say whatever you want about the offense.
Well,
go ahead.
This was not his first game. His first game, he clearly had to shake off the rust.
Yeah,
and that was Gainesville.
Came off the bench. Yeah.
All right. It was like, whoa, this is like 1 for 6 or 7 from the floor. Just he had to shake off the rust. I get it. But this game, he does give him a chance at some sort of cohesion. And, his assist to turnover ratio was much improved. That's, I thought his body improved from what I saw at UNLV. He's got a little bit stronger. He's just gotten better. His game has improved. And so is that bad luck? That is a dose of bad luck. When he gets hurt. Can he get hurt with 6 games to go in this BS non-conference schedule? No. Right at your conference opener, in College Station.
And I hate to put it this way, but this is why I think it's important that he plays. At full strength, they're still not good enough. Okay? It's at full strength because I heard the interview that Jacques Doucet did with Verge last week, and I know that Verge has got to say, he's got to be supportive of his coach and not going to make a move during the season, and I don't think that there's any real hurry to do it in the season. But, one of the things that Verge said was, well, they lost a big man and they lost a point guard. And while that's true, it's not the signature problem, okay? They can be at full strength and their ceiling is 10th place. Their absolute ceiling is 10th place. So they need to see that because the last thing I would want is for Thomas to miss, the rest of the season or 6 or 8 games and go, well, if they'd have had Thomas. No, he's a good player. They're better with him without question. But at full strength, they're still not good enough. There's not enough talent on that team to make a run to the postseason.
Verge was giving the injury excuses?
Verge was being very diplomatic. It was a wide-ranging interview about a lot of stuff.
Not every athletic director is going to go with the injury excuse for those who have injuries who impact their season. Okay, so when you're trying to lay the foundation for excuses.
Yeah, and we haven't seen Verge with the basketball program, so I don't know what his thoughts are on McMahon overall. This is the first time I've really heard him talk about it, and frankly, he's had other fish to fry before the basketball season started. So I don't know, but that's what he had to say.
How long we've been doing this and, looking at RPI and now NET, how long have we done this? 35 years?
Yeah.
How are they in the bubble as far as NET range? How are they 46?
And I told you this yesterday. It's the offensive and defensive efficiency ratings against that non-conference schedule, because the NET is not just opponents and your opponent's opponents, but there's offensive and defensive
all right. Well, let's look
at
at Ken Palm. What's the offensive efficiency defensive efficiency input on Ken Palm?
Max,
it weighs in schedule. It does weigh in
I
schedule.
understand.
Now, maybe not accurately enough.
It's not perfect. It has too much historical input,
34th,
but it's still the most respected metric there is out there.
34th offense.
Right, wrong, or indifferent. The most respected metric out there, and they play out their entire schedule, and they have LSU projected as what to finish?
34th offense, 76 defense. They have them going 6-12 in conference play.
6-12.
I could see 6-12.
They got to go 5-6.
I think 5-13 is a little bit more realistic. I think you got them at 4-14. 4-14. I'll split the difference with you, and I think it's 5. The next 4 games, they're all winnable. There's nobody that they can't play with. More than likely,
well,
I think they probably
how many
split.
of their conference losses were winnable? South Carolina's winnable.
South Carolina, yeah.
A&M was winnable.
Well, they had Kentucky beat.
Kentucky's winnable. Well,
those 3.
They had Kentucky beat.
Winnable.
You could have 3 more.
Well, how many do you think they're going to win?
Maybe Verge can add that to his excuse list.
Well, Verge can't come out and say in the middle of January.
I'm just going. He's laying the foundation. They don't care. Nobody cares about LSU.
That's why
you said it.
I did.
He's laying the foundation for it.
That's
right
why
there.
I think it's important that
I
Thomas
interpreted
plays.
that interview differently.
How did you interpret it?
To me, it sounded like if we don't make the tournament, we're going to have to assess that, and I think he just kind of threw him a little bit of a bone there.
Yeah,
I didn't
that's
interpret
fair.
that he was
That's
making
fair.
excuses.
I don't expect Verge to come out and trash his basketball coach in the middle of January.
He made a point to say we're not going to fire him midseason, which
is also fine.
I don't see any point in that either.
That's not going to help things.
To bring that up, to me, suggests they're probably going to be looking at a change.
I'll be shocked.
Come on,
if there's not a change. I mean, come on, man.
You've seen the football coach, the women's basketball coach, the baseball coach, the softball. I mean, they fire people around here after they win national championships. This is a fireable record under any.
What's the best Joe Dean quote?
The best his quote.
Best Joe Dean quote. I hire coaches. Empty seats,
fire them. Well, plenty of them. There's plenty.
A few empty seats.
Max.
Average capacity 3,000.
Max, that's the funniest expression I've seen because you've tried.
It's a shame he's not on camera, right?
You've tried to try and come on, man. I mean, you tried to
not
support
because we don't
that
like
team.
this guy. We want them to win.
Everybody
we
likes
want
the
LSU
guy
basketball
who has
win,
not said Mac McMahon. Man, really nice
Very
guy.
nice man. Very nice man. He'll be just fine in his basketball career when he'll coach again somewhere else. But
if
job
it was
not
about being nice, Nick Saban would have never got a job.
Now, that might be your best quote of the day.
The stat I look for
that might be your best quote.
Every time I go in the PMAC, is there an empty section? How many empty sections are there in the PMAC?
Sections. It's like the Rose Bowl for UCLA football.
Up in the top corners, and there's typally at least one.
So we're in Nike
section.
school, right? Mm-hmm. So we got to get some of those Nike section covers, like the Rose Bowl has those Adidas. Big UCLA. We can at least knock out 3 of them in the upper deck. LSU.
Close the upper deck. West Monroe's not coming.
Hey, West Monroe. Why don't you feel Max in on that? Tulane was 11. I'm sorry, they were 10-0. They played on Thanksgiving Day against Louisiana Tech on Thanksgiving Day afternoon, and they still, going for undefeated season, did not open up the terrace because they didn't have enough fans. And so when West Monroe played Shaw for the state championship, there was a good 10,000 in the terrace.
Which, if you got 10,000 in the terrace in the Superdome, it means you're well north of 50,000.
So Carl LeCat was sitting right behind me of all the luck I had. I was blessed that day. So and he was screaming. I just gave, open up the terrace. West Monroe's coming. So anyway, I get on my buddy Sean King and his all the, and he played like Bobby, Daddy Bobby told son Tommy, son, you're undefeated in your Liberty Bowl. You're thinking about taking a job, you go to Clemson. Go to Clemson. Don't forget our friend Dana Brown at the law offices of O.C. Brown, your law firm for a lifetime. 343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime. Great team of attorneys. Look, getting in an accident like I did, I could not imagine going through that pain in the neck process without the assistance of Dana Brown. Man, dealing with the insurance companies 100. Man, I think I took a phone call from the insurance company one day and the next day, and it was complete. I was like, Dana, you got to handle this. You have to handle this, and he does, because they're used to doing it for you. Insurance companies aren't going to just, what you think? Ask you what you think. You would take care of everything with all the damage and the doctor bills and everything else. Call our buddy Dana Brown at 343-1111 or go to ocbrown.com. As soon as you pull up the main site, the big block comes up, schedule a free consultation, and you could click on and set up that initial consultation. It's free, and that way we can help decide, lay out the options for you, whether you are certainly entitled to something or no, you just got to. There's nothing we can do about this. We'll let you know if it's worth pursuing or not. Downtown, Dana Brown, the law offices of O.C. Brown, 343-1111 and ocbrown.com.
Live at Big Mike's in Denham Springs, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from Big Mike's Sports Bar and Grill in Denham Springs on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
We're also brought to you by Coastal Capital Advisors. When it comes to retirement, no two situations are exactly identical. So let Phil Fontenot and his staff talk to you at Coastal Capital Advisors to set up a plan. Just because you're putting money away every month does not mean that you're maximizing your returns. It doesn't mean that you've got everything figured out. Ask the questions that need to be asked. When do you want to retire? How much are you going to need? What are you expecting? No surprises. So talk to Phil Fontenot and his staff. Go to coastalcapitaladv.com to make an appointment. coastalcapitaladv.com. Member FINRA SIPC. Rest of the league on Saturday, we saw Tennessee go into Alabama and pull an upset. Alabama was out two of their top three scorers, but Charles Bediako did play. The professional had 13 points and 3 rebounds, but Tennessee got the 6-point win. And one of the damnedest things you'll ever see in Missouri, Oklahoma, not one but two buzzer beaters. One to tie it and send it to overtime, and one to win it for Mizzou. The one that sent it to overtime was from the logo, and Missouri got a game that, well, seemed like it had slipped away from them more than once, and Oklahoma got that heartbreaking loss in overtime. Vanderbilt bounced back after 3 straight losses with a big win over the weekend. Kentucky, you had that game, Jimmy. That was one of the ones that you had circled to take Ole Miss in the points. Kentucky won.
Sticky late, but
yeah, the right side the whole way.
They never were not covering.
Yeah, the right side.
I mean, for the entire 40 minutes, and also the line went from 9.5 to 11.5.
Yeah,
the morning.
Yeah, it did.
I mean, it fell 9, but so.
Yeah, so Kentucky wins, but Ole Miss covers there. And Texas A&M goes to 6-1 in the league. They had a big 23-point win at home against South Carolina.
Is Bucky Ball for real? And Charlie, I know what you're trying to get at, but you said the professional.
Well, they're all professionals. I got it. I know.
Team 365 teams doesn't have professionals.
He was still listed in the game program as playing professionally. Former Alabama players.
They're all getting paid. They're all professionals.
This is the list of, like, when they acknowledge all the NBA and G League players from the program, he was still listed in the program as a former Bama player playing professionally.
I get that they're all getting paid now and they're all professionals, yes. I think that once you start playing in the G League, you should play college basketball.
Just trying to make sure you're technically accurate, Charlie.
Yeah. I think that, once you get to that point.
Lou, you can whine about it. You can make excuses, Verge, or you can get out there and hustle.
Well, I'm not expecting him to go out and hustle G League players. I would just like him to go out and get better
I'll
players
take
from the
Why not? You don't want them?
Yeah, but
what? There's shame in roster building in college basketball.
This came up a week ago. I mean, I can't expect him to go out and get a G League player today. He lost. He lost the season a long time ago. Let's talk about Texas A&M for a second, because
that's the real question. Are they for real?
The schedule was bad, and it's still bad. The non-con you were asking why they're not further in front of LSU. I went in, I did the quad 4 wins. Okay, do you think that there is any difference between Manhattan and southeastern Louisiana, or Mississippi Valley and UNO? Well, turns out there is. We don't see any difference. Okay, these are all blowout wins. We could care less. But the reason that their ranking is so as low as it is, despite their record, is their quad 4 wins are, on average, 60 spots below LSU's quad 4 wins. So it's all of these teams are bad. They're just that much worse. It was not a very good non-conference schedule for Texas A&M. But in the league, they played Mississippi State, who's one of the worst teams. They played South Carolina, who's one of the worst teams. They played LSU, who's one of the worst teams.
Oklahoma, 1-6.
And Oklahoma, who's one of the worst teams. They do have a win at Auburn, and they do have a win at Texas. So I think they're really good. I think they're a tournament team for sure.
And a brutal loss in Knoxville. In
double overtime, where I thought they couple of screwy calls at the end. So I think they're for real, but the reason that they're not ranked higher is that schedule is really, really bad.
You watch them play?
I watched the whole game against Tennessee. I watched the whole game against LSU. That's the only time I watched them from start to finish.
So we know the metrics, okay, and I don't think the selection committee has ever said, okay, the difference between these two teams is the disparity in their quad 4 scheduling.
I don't either.
Okay?
I don't either.
That should never come up.
This is just math.
We're also talking about 7 conference games into the season where the team is in sole possession of first place and the team that's tied for last are this close in the metrics. Okay?
Yeah.
So it is of note.
Yes.
But if your eyeballs, you can't sit down and watch LSU play and Texas A&M play and see the biggest difference.
The pressure. The pressure.
You think they can have a little bit more effort on defense? Think they have a little bit more pressure? Nobody presses like they do right now. Nobody. I've never known a team that presses out of missed layups. Miss free throws and missed field goals. Never seen that. Even 40 minutes of hell, no, we can't set up our press against, with missed shots. Can't do that. We got to get it made bucket. That's when we can set our pressure. That's as old as dirt. They do it. And, man, they are playing hard, and they are pressuring hard. It's not them token pressure to try and eat up 8-10 seconds. I mean, you're talking about a team that can't stop anybody when it counts. Okay, it's tied with 8 minutes to go. The other team makes 9 straight shots. Well, that's part on you. There's 2 teams playing, okay? These guys, they are pressing and wait until you just finally get a sloppy pass or this. It is non-stop. It's almost like, man, when Mouse McFadden and Cleveland State would press it. Man, this pressure is brutal, man.
All right, the schedule's
Buckyball. So is it going to last?
Schedule's about to thicken up.
That's no doubt.
They go to Georgia, they go to Alabama, and Florida at home. That's the next 3. That's
go to
tough.
Georgia. That's a toss-up game.
Yeah,
I will give Georgia the edge. Georgia will be favored.
Georgia will be a small favorite, but if they could win at Auburn and Texas, they can win at Georgia.
You can't expect them to win a road.
Not every time. No.
What was I going to say? I was going to say you can't expect them to win a road game against a team that's going to make the tournament. Georgia's going to be in a tournament.
Yeah, and then they go to Alabama.
Can't expect them to win that.
And then they come home and play Florida.
Yeah, that's 3 tough games, man. So if they go 1 and 2,
I would look at that stretch and just say, don't lose all 3
of them. And I think they
will.
will. I don't think they'll lose all 3.
I don't either.
I don't think they'll lose all 3.
We'll see if Alabama's going to still be shorthanded come next week at this time, the way they were this weekend.
Buckyball, one of these new age coaches, top 30 in tempo, top 30 in 3-point percentage. So how many of their shots are from beyond the arc?
No, there's no doubt. They're volume. They're quick too.
Analytics they try to shoot those threes.
So their tempo is obvious, way out the roof. There's no doubt. I mean, they are, and that's what is college basketball? A lot of times, especially in a tournament, who's win the battle with tempo? It's hard not to play, and it's harder to speed teams up than to slow them down. But it's hard. It's hard for you not to get caught up in the speed of their games.
And their twos all come around the rim. Like, that's the thing. They're around the rim or they shoot threes.
But
they do it more than pretty much.
That's not unique.
It's not unique.
That's a lot of teams do that. I mean,
they do it at a rate that is unlike any other.
Their pressure is, though, nobody's doing that. I mean, it's almost like they got 7 guys. Their pressure is tough. They've bought in. And keep in mind, this guy, first-year coach, late portal, he had to go to. So he had to take the crumbs, to put this roster together, and they're buying in. They respond to his coaching. I'll tell you that. Their effort level, a bit different than that team down the street. All right, don't forget today we're over here at Big Mike's. Big Mike's, we opened up an hour later to try and offset some of the cold weather around, but we are open for business over here. We opened up at noon today. Tomorrow we'll be at Mike Anderson Seafood on Lee, just off of Nicholson. So come on by and see us at our for our remotes. Get a few guys over here today. And also, you're not thinking about AC right now, of course, with the frigid weathers, but now's the time to, if your AC unit was serviced this past summer, if it's over 10 years old, now's the time to call up Total Maintenance at 480-1000 and ask about the possible replacements, because now you're getting discounts, up to $5,500 in discounts on certain units that we have at them. So Carrier, American Standard, Dakin, and Rheem products. We're factory authorized dealers for all of them. So, hey, units over 10 years old, it was serviced over the summer, call up and let us come check out your situation and lay out the options for you, because if you do have to replace it, now's the time where you're going to save a lot of money. Again, Total Maintenance, 480-1000.
Live at Big Mike's, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from Big Mike's Sports Bar and Grill in Denham Springs on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All you can eat ball shrimp here on Monday nights, every Monday night at Big Mike's, starting at 5 o'clock. Dollar Wings on Wednesdays. Happy hour from 3 to 7, Monday through Friday, and all day starting at 11 a.m. on Sunday. Scotty Scheffler shows up like nothing ever changed, right?
He made a double bogey on the second last hole to win by 4 shots in a birdie fest. Unbelievable.
The fun story this weekend with Blades Brown while it lasted, the 18-year-old that shot. He was within 4 of the lead on Saturday.
What was his
He
pay?
shot 74
What
yesterday.
did he make?
He's in the final round.
112,000. 117,000.
Rough day on Sunday, but great story.
Tomorrow we're at Mike Anderson's. Thanks to Big Mike. Y'all stay tuned for Hunt Palmer on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.